Multiculturalism is concerned with the best way to respond to cultural and religious diversity and how to balance this diversity with civic unity. It focuses on the political accommodation of difference and how to integrate differing identities into an overarching, collective identity. The core ideas and principles of multiculturalism are rooted in the politics of recognition, the importance of culture and identity, the protection of minority rights, and the celebration of diversity. The idea of politics of recognition is the positive endorsement and celebration of cultural differences, valuing every culture as worthy of respect and inclusion. Oppression and cultural marginalization affect human nature by damaging individuals' sense of self-worth and belonging, leading to alienation and social division. Recognition is crucial for the human sense of self because it validates identity, fosters dignity, and underpins social integration and cohesion. Based on the idea of politics of recognition, the multiculturalist view on human nature is that individuals are shaped by their cultural identities and require social acknowledgement to flourish. Based on the idea of politics of recognition, the multiculturalist view on the economy is that inclusion of diverse cultural groups strengthens creativity, innovation, and equality of opportunity. Based on the idea of politics of recognition, the multiculturalist view on society is that it should be inclusive, respectful, and pluralistic, allowing every group to maintain its cultural distinctiveness. Based on the idea of politics of recognition, the multiculturalist view on the state is that it must actively protect and promote recognition of all cultural identities to ensure justice and equality. The idea of culture and identity is that culture shapes how individuals understand themselves, their relationships, and their place within society. Culture is critical to human nature and society because it forms the foundation of personal, political, and social identity, guiding values, behavior, and belonging. Minority cultures should be protected to preserve diversity, prevent assimilation, and ensure that all citizens can live according to their cultural traditions and beliefs. Criticisms of favoring minority cultures argue that it may create division, inequality, or undermine shared national identity. Based on the idea of culture and identity, the multiculturalist view on human nature is that individuals are culturally embedded beings whose identity cannot be separated from their cultural background. Based on the idea of culture and identity, the multiculturalist view on the economy is that it must accommodate cultural differences and promote equal participation across diverse groups. Based on the idea of culture and identity, the multiculturalist view on society is that social harmony depends on the recognition and coexistence of different cultural communities. Based on the idea of culture and identity, the multiculturalist view on the state is that it should uphold cultural pluralism and safeguard cultural expression through law and policy. The idea of minority rights is that certain groups require special legal and political protections to maintain their culture and achieve genuine equality. The state should address the specific needs of particular groups by granting special rights that recognize their cultural, linguistic, or religious distinctiveness, promoting fairness and inclusion. The state can address these needs through measures such as affirmative action, language rights, and community self-governance to reduce structural inequality. Criticisms of minority rights claim they may privilege certain groups, weaken social unity, or conflict with liberal ideas of individual equality. Based on the idea of minority rights, the multiculturalist view on human nature is that people are social and cultural beings who thrive when their identities are recognized and supported. Based on the idea of minority rights, the multiculturalist view on the economy is that equitable development requires acknowledging and addressing the structural disadvantages faced by minority groups. Based on the idea of minority rights, the multiculturalist view on society is that inclusion and justice depend on the empowerment and recognition of all cultural communities. Based on the idea of minority rights, the multiculturalist view on the state is that it must balance universal equality with the protection of group-specific rights. The idea of diversity is that including different races and cultures in the state, society, and economy is both possible and positive, and should be celebrated as a strength. Different justifications for diversity include moral arguments for equality, social arguments for cohesion, and economic arguments for innovation and progress. Different types of diversity include racial, cultural, linguistic, and religious diversity, each contributing to the richness of collective identity. Criticisms of diversity claim it may cause cultural fragmentation, reduce social solidarity, or challenge common values. Based on the idea of diversity, the multiculturalist view on human nature is that individuals are enriched through interaction with different cultures and perspectives. Based on the idea of diversity, the multiculturalist view on the economy is that cultural variety enhances productivity, creativity, and adaptability in a globalized world. Based on the idea of diversity, the multiculturalist view on society is that pluralism promotes mutual understanding, tolerance, and a stronger sense of shared humanity. Based on the idea of diversity, the multiculturalist view on the state is that it should promote inclusion and celebrate difference as essential to democratic life. The different types of multiculturalism are liberal multiculturalism, pluralist multiculturalism, cosmopolitan multiculturalism, and the conservative criticism. Liberal multiculturalism is a broad ideology that endorses cultural diversity, is compatible with tolerance and personal autonomy within a liberal framework, and promotes civic unity in the public sphere. The liberal multiculturalist view on human nature is that individuals are rational and autonomous beings who should have the freedom to express their cultural identity. The liberal multiculturalist view on the economy is that equality of opportunity allows all cultural groups to participate and prosper within a fair market system. The liberal multiculturalist view on society is that diversity should exist within a shared framework of liberal values that unite citizens through common rights and responsibilities. The liberal multiculturalist view on the state is that it should remain neutral between cultures while protecting individual freedoms and ensuring non-discrimination. The liberal multiculturalist view on politics of recognition is that recognition should focus on individual autonomy and equality rather than collective identity. The liberal multiculturalist view on culture and identity is that culture should be freely chosen and not imposed, allowing individuals to define their own sense of belonging. The liberal multiculturalist view on minority rights is that such rights are justified only when they support individual freedom and do not restrict autonomy. The liberal multiculturalist view on diversity is that it enriches society as long as it aligns with the principles of liberty and equality. Pluralist multiculturalism is a broad ideology where diversity is a value in its own right, all cultures are equal, and cultural recognition is the basis for civic participation. The pluralist multiculturalist view on human nature is that people are culturally embedded beings whose identities are shaped by the communities to which they belong. The pluralist multiculturalist view on the economy is that economic systems should respect cultural differences and ensure fair access for all cultural groups. The pluralist multiculturalist view on society is that it should consist of multiple cultural communities coexisting equally, each contributing to collective life. The pluralist multiculturalist view on the state is that it should promote and protect the autonomy of cultural groups within a shared political framework. The pluralist multiculturalist view on politics of recognition is that every culture deserves equal respect and public acknowledgement as a foundation for inclusion. The pluralist multiculturalist view on culture and identity is that cultural identity is central to personal and social meaning and must be preserved to sustain human dignity. The pluralist multiculturalist view on minority rights is that they are necessary to protect distinct cultural practices and prevent marginalization. The pluralist multiculturalist view on diversity is that it is inherently valuable and essential for a vibrant and just society. Cosmopolitan multiculturalism is the belief that diversity strengthens cultural hybridity, promotes global citizenship, and undermines cultural identity as a driving force in society. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on human nature is that individuals are global citizens whose identities are fluid and formed through cultural exchange. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on the economy is that global interconnectedness fosters innovation, cooperation, and shared prosperity across cultural boundaries. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on society is that it should be open and dynamic, where cultural blending leads to greater understanding and progress. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on the state is that it should embrace global values, encourage cross-cultural dialogue, and support international cooperation. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on politics of recognition is that recognition should focus on shared humanity rather than fixed cultural identities. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on culture and identity is that identity is flexible, evolving through interaction and exchange between different cultures. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on minority rights is that cultural protection should promote integration and mutual learning rather than isolation. The cosmopolitan multiculturalist view on diversity is that it is a source of global enrichment and the foundation for a more interconnected world. The conservative criticism is that there can be no diversity within unity, as excessive cultural difference undermines shared values and social cohesion. The conservative critic's view on human nature is that people require a stable cultural identity rooted in tradition and continuity. The conservative critic's view on the economy is that a shared moral framework is necessary to sustain trust, order, and productivity. The conservative critic's view on society is that unity and common culture are essential for social stability and national identity. The conservative critic's view on the state is that it should preserve traditional values and protect national cohesion against cultural fragmentation. The conservative critic's view on politics of recognition is that prioritizing cultural difference over shared values erodes social harmony. The conservative critic's view on culture and identity is that culture should unite citizens under a common heritage rather than divide them into separate groups. The conservative critic's view on minority rights is that granting special rights threatens equality and weakens national unity. The conservative critic's view on diversity is that it can create division and conflict unless grounded in a strong and cohesive cultural framework. The multiculturalist key thinkers are Isaiah Berlin, Charles Taylor, Baiku Parekh, Tariq Modood, and Will Kimlicka. The idea of Isaiah Berlin is value pluralism. The idea of value pluralism is that liberal views in society hold no more moral authority than illiberal beliefs, so the state and society need to move beyond shallow diversity. The view that pluralism should only be in a liberal society means that genuine value pluralism can only exist where liberty and mutual respect are protected. Isaiah Berlin's view on human nature is that individuals are guided by a variety of equally valid moral values that cannot be fully reconciled. Isaiah Berlin's view on the economy is that it should allow people to pursue different conceptions of the good life without state interference. Isaiah Berlin's view on society is that it should accept moral diversity and allow multiple ways of living to coexist peacefully. Isaiah Berlin's view on the state is that it must protect freedom by ensuring individuals can choose between competing values without coercion. Isaiah Berlin's view on politics of recognition is that respect for differing values requires tolerance of both liberal and illiberal cultures. Isaiah Berlin's view on culture and identity is that every culture embodies distinct moral visions that deserve acknowledgement. Isaiah Berlin's view on minority rights is that protecting diversity safeguards freedom and prevents cultural domination. Isaiah Berlin's view on diversity is that it is an inevitable and enriching feature of human existence that must be respected. The idea of Charles Taylor is the politics of recognition. The idea of the politics of recognition is based on the universal right for all to have their identity recognized. The idea of politics of recognition is based on the equalization of all rights and entitlements and the politics of difference, ensuring every identity is valued and affirmed. Charles Taylor's view on human nature is that individuals need recognition from others to develop a secure sense of self. Charles Taylor's view on the economy is that economic participation should reflect and respect cultural differences. Charles Taylor's view on society is that mutual recognition strengthens social cohesion and prevents alienation. Charles Taylor's view on the state is that it should promote equal recognition and protect cultural expression through inclusive policies. Charles Taylor's view on politics of recognition is that recognition of cultural identity is essential for individual dignity and equality. Charles Taylor's view on culture and identity is that identity is formed through dialogue and acknowledgement within a cultural context. Charles Taylor's view on minority rights is that they are vital to ensure all groups receive equal respect and participation. Charles Taylor's view on diversity is that it enriches society by fostering understanding and inclusion. The ideas of Baiku Parekh are the rejection of universalist liberalism, the justifications for minority rights, and deep diversity. The idea of rejection of universalist liberalism is the belief in the importance of the individual being culturally embedded. The justifications for minority rights and deep diversity are that cross-cultural dialogue can be transformative for majority and minority cultures, creating common citizenship. Baiku Parekh's view on human nature is that people are shaped by their culture and develop moral values through cultural belonging. Baiku Parekh's view on the economy is that it should recognize cultural difference and distribute resources fairly among all communities. Baiku Parekh's view on society is that deep diversity strengthens democracy by promoting dialogue and shared understanding. Baiku Parekh's view on the state is that it should mediate between cultures, ensuring that no culture dominates another. Parek's view on politics of recognition is that recognition must involve intercultural dialogue and not just passive tolerance. Parek's view on culture and identity is that each culture offers unique insights and moral visions that enrich human life. Parek's view on minority rights is that they are essential to achieve justice and equality between cultures. Parek's view on diversity is that it is a fundamental characteristic of human society that must be valued and protected. The ideas of Tariq Modood are that strong cultural identities are a good thing and that all views of integration may be valid. The idea that strong cultural identities are a good thing means they need the complement of a vibrant national narrative that emerges from debate between cultures. The 4 views of integration are assimilation, individualist, multiculturalism, and cosmopolitanism. Assimilation emphasizes adopting the dominant culture, individualist integration stresses personal choice over group identity, multiculturalism promotes coexistence of distinct cultures, cosmopolitanism supports global identity beyond national boundaries. The idea that all 4 views of integration may be valid means they are acceptable provided they are the preferred choice of the individual or group and not imposed by the state or society. Tariq Modood's view on human nature is that people identify strongly with their culture and seek recognition within it. Tariq Modood's view on the economy is that it should accommodate cultural diversity and create equal opportunities for all groups. Tariq Modood's view on society is that it should balance shared citizenship with respect for distinct cultural identities. Tariq Modood's view on the state is that it should promote dialogue between cultures to create an inclusive national identity. Tariq Modood's view on politics of recognition is that recognition must include both cultural respect and civic participation. Tariq Modood's view on culture and identity is that cultural identity is dynamic and should contribute to shaping the national narrative. Tariq Modood's view on minority rights is that they are necessary to protect identity and ensure genuine inclusion in national life. Tariq Modood's view on diversity is that it strengthens democracy and enriches social and cultural development. The idea of Wilkimlika is group differentiated rights. The idea of group differentiated rights is that they are provided by the state, including self-government rights, polyethnic rights, and representation rights. The justification for these rights is that the state should provide them to ensure full and equal participation for, and integration of, all cultures. Wilkimlika's view on human nature is that individuals are shaped by their cultural membership, which provides meaning and identity. Wilkimlika's view on the economy is that it must guarantee equality of access for all cultural groups and prevent structural disadvantage. Wilkimlika's view on society is that it should recognize the importance of culture in allowing citizens to participate equally. Wilkimlika's view on the state is that it must actively protect cultural groups through differentiated rights to achieve true equality. Wilkimlika's view on politics of recognition is that recognition must take legal form to empower cultural groups. Wilkimlika's view on culture and identity is that cultural belonging is essential to individual freedom and political participation. Wilkimlika's view on minority rights is that special rights are required to protect vulnerable groups and promote fairness. Wilkimlika's view on diversity is that it enhances democracy by ensuring all cultural voices are heard and respected. Thank you for watching this video on multiculturalism. I'll see you in the next one.